What's up, everyone? This is Isaac from Hunger Smash Fitness. Today is going to be an amazing topic that I'm stoked to talk about. We're going to talk about hemorrhoids. So, I get asked quite a bit actually in the gym here and there just about different injuries, different common, whatever associated with weightlifting, associated with diet and everything else. One of the ones I've been asked about a fair amount more recently is hemorrhoids. So I'm sure you've all seen the ads on TV and heard the studies and stuff that 1 out of 3 people deal with hemorrhoids. So if you're in a group of 3, odds are pretty good that one of you have them or have had them. And some factors increase your odds of getting hemorrhoids, such as diet and heavy lifting. The big reason why heavy lifting can be a big factor with this is because of all the bearing down that you're doing. So when you're bracing, and especially when you're going deeper into a squat or a deadlift or something like that along those lines, where you're having more flexion of the hip, increasing pressure in the abdominal cavity, pressure has to go somewhere. And so especially if you have a weak pelvic floor or poor control of your pelvic floor or something like that, a lot of times pressure will leak that way. So it can increase your odds of hemorrhoids. If you don't know what hemorrhoids are, look it up. I'm not going to explain them here. Basically, you're probably going to have a lot of itching, bleeding, all around the anus there. They ache. But anyways, so getting that out of the way there, just wanted to talk a little bit about that. So I've never had hemorrhoids. I know a lot of lifters who have. Some of them dealt with them. Some of them refuse to deal with them. They're still training. It doesn't necessarily impact your training. They're miserable. They're not a lot of fun, but if they're minor, you can ignore them. If they're more intense, you can do some stuff to deal with it. Some of the stuff that you can do, especially if you're having a flare-up currently, some tips that I would say is temporarily, usually you can get them under control in about a week or so if you're handling them. So I'd say for about a week, kind of go a little bit lighter on weight. Don't squat as deep necessarily, because that's going to increase the pressure going down. The deeper you squat, the more pressure is going to be going down. So I'd say maybe don't squat quite as deep for just a little while. You could consider not wearing a weight belt, because that again is going to be increasing pressure in the abdominal cavity. Increase your fiber intake. That's a big one too. Get things moving better. That can often relieve pressure. And then they have there's topical ointments and stuff. I'm sure you've seen Preparation H and all that sort of stuff. So there's always some topical ointments you can do. You can do sitz baths. Sitz baths help really well. Like I said, they typically go away within a week or so, plus or minus. You can have internal and external hemorrhoids. External hemorrhoids are usually the more painful ones. Internal can also be pretty bad, but they're not as noticeable generally. So usually if you start trying to deal with them, hopefully they should go away within about a week or so. If they don't, there's a lot of different treatments that you can do. You'll probably want to go to a doctor of internal medicine or a proctologist. I would say talk to them. Just go to your general doctor and he can send you to whoever in your area would be a good one to talk to about that. Some of the things that they can do though, they can do coagulation is one. So it uses a laser, heat, or infrared, I think it is, to basically shrink the hemorrhoids. So especially for external hemorrhoids and stuff. You can do something like that. It helps shrink the hemorrhoid. Very minimal side effects, and really not really any discomfort because it's a laser or a heat gun or something like that. You know, so it's not a needle, it's not a knife or anything like that. Another thing that they can do is sclerotherapy, which is basically it's an injection that they'll inject into the tissue, and it causes the tissue to shrink up, kind of scar over basically. It can be less effective than banding though. In my research, it looks like banding is probably the most promising and the most common. So banding is just literally, especially with an external hemorrhoid, they just put a band over it, and it cuts off the blood flow to that area. After about a week, it kind of dies and falls off. So it's pretty quick, it's painless, takes about a week for it to go away. Yeah, it makes it so it's not really a big deal. If you've tried any of those methods and they don't seem like they're working, then you can go to something a little bit more intense. So they have hemorrhoid stapling, where they actually go up and they actually put a staple at the top of the hemorrhoid basically, so it stops blood flow into the area. It's a much faster recovery and a much faster return to activity than cutting it out or something, which I can talk about next. But there are higher risk of side effects with that. It seems like you have a higher risk of infection and everything else going with that. So it's a toss up, you know, it's a win-loss type situation. And then the last method that they could do is a hemorrhoidectomy, which is where they literally go in and surgically remove the hemorrhoid. And it's the number one most effective method. Probably won't come back if they do that, but there is a much longer recovery associated with that because they're actually going in and cutting it out. So yeah, there's varying stages of how you can deal with them. Like I said, if you're having just minor discomfort or something like that, I'd say honestly just increase your fiber intake. Maybe get some topical treatment. You can get some witch hazel or preparation H, something like that. Do a sitz bath. Just kind of relieve some discomfort there, and hopefully they'll clear up pretty quickly. Another thing that you can do, I know I've mentioned before, doing walks after every meal. After every meal, go for a 10-minute walk or so. This is something that Stan Efferding really pushes a lot, is 3 walks a day for about 10 minutes each time. And that's a fantastic way to get blood flow moving out of that area. So a lot of the time, especially if you're sitting for a really long time, it can increase your hemorrhoids. So just get up and walk for a while. And that's a great way to help relieve some of the pressure and relieve some of get the blood moving, get everything kind of moving around down there. So yeah, so this is just a shorter video. Like I said, it's not a pleasant topic. I'm sure everyone is wondering why I wanted to do a video about this. And it's just, I've been asked multiple times recently about dealing with hemorrhoids. And so I decided it's finally time. I should just sit down and actually make a video about it. So yeah, if you have any questions or comments about it, let me know. If you have any other questions about other common injuries with weightlifting, anything like that, feel free to ask. With some things, you know, it's definitely, you know, if there's bone protruding, you need to go to the doctor and you know, you need surgery. But with minor stuff, tendonitis, stuff like that, there's a lot of little things you can do to deal with that. So yeah, so feel free to ask. And as always, please like and subscribe to the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video. If you know anyone else who may benefit from knowing this information, send the video to them and hopefully it'll help them out, because it's not a pleasant topic. I find that the majority of people who are dealing with hemorrhoids, generally don't actually want to go out and talk to people about it. So this could be a way where if you're having some discomfort, here's some information for you. It's very easy to deal with, very easy to help out, and hopefully things clear up for you. So anyways, that's all for today. Again, this is Isaac from Hunger Smash Fitness. Just remember to always improve that 1%.